Hey guys, it's Nod Lammers of Invoked 101, and today I have a deck that some of you are probably tired of seeing on this channel. Today I have my Invoked Mekk-Knight deck profile. So this deck did take a bit of a hit on the last ban list. There are some cards that did get hit that were part of this deck on the ban list. So, but yes, this is actually the most varied build that I've done for this deck in a long time. This deck actually, I feel, has some decent meta potential right now. So let's just kind of set everything aside and take a look at this deck. And I'll tell you that this deck profile is a lot different from what I was playing the last format. So, you know, new format, new me. Anyways, if you want to see more deck profiles like this, or you want me to deck profile something that you want, consider backing me on Patreon. Just that $1 a month will go to new deck profiles, new cards for those deck profiles, and uploading more consistent content. So if you want to do that, consider backing me on Patreon. You can also keep up with everything we do on this channel by subscribing. The button is below, as is the link to my Patreon. So let's set these spells aside, let's set the extra deck aside, and we can talk. Actually, I'm going to put the spells next to the extra deck because that way it's easier. We're going to talk about the main deck monsters. So I'm not going to zoom in for this one. So first off, as always, we have 3 Alistair the Invoker. This is your main boy. This is your main normal summon. You, whenever he's normal summoned, you get to search invocation. It sounds like you're cheating, and you may tell your opponent that you're not, but they may not believe you. So. But yeah, so 3 Alistair the Invoker, which is the end of our Invoked engine. And then for our Mekk-Knight boys, we're playing 3 Purple Nightfall. Purple Nightfall is pretty good. He is your main Mekk-Knight. I'm actually going to set Alistair off to the side. He's your main Mekk-Knight. What he does is you can banish him and then search a Mekk-Knight, or you can banish another Mekk-Knight that you control. Just a very good card overall. Next up, we have our 2 of Mekk-Knights, which is 2 blue. The reason we cut blue to 2 is because you're only really getting his effect off about twice, and you don't necessarily always want to open him. Usually you want to see purple first, but cutting blue down to 2 also opens up some spots for another card in the deck that I'll talk about when I get there. And then we have 2 of Move Man. A lot of people wanted Move Man to be hit on the ban list. A lot of people said he should be banned, but he's still here. This deck dodged that ban list just like Move Man dodges things. I don't know, he doesn't really dodge targeting or nothing like that. But yeah, so we still got him. He's the next strongest one and one of the best ones. And then we have the 2 that you're always going to search. We have 1 Red Moon and 1 Avram. If you want this to be Yellow Star, you can. I honestly prefer having Avram in the deck because Yellow Star isn't as useful. But yeah, so Avram is your other normal summon. This is your monster. He pops cards, so you know, pretty nice. And that's it for the Mekk-Knight package. I feel that these are the numbers. These are the Mekk-Knights that I like, and these are the ones that I feel are the most useful at the correct numbers. These are the numbers you should be running. So. For our hand trap suite, we are playing 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring because she is one of the best hand traps of the format, if not ever. So gotta be playing her. Then we're playing 3 Effect Veiler, another really good card. Effect Veiler being able to just target stuff and like negate it. It does, of course, it does target, but I still feel it's better than our last hand trap, which is 2 Ghost Ogre, and it really sucks because Ghost Ogre used to be really good, but we've cut Ghost Ogre to 2. I feel that if you're cutting any hand trap to 2, it should be this one. You could be playing Drolls in here if you want. You can swap out the Effect Veilers with Drolls. I know that or you could swap out the Ogres with Drolls, but these are the ones that I have, and these are the ones I like playing. So that's the hand trap suite. And lastly, for monsters, we do have a new tech, and that is 2 Time Maiden. So what Time Maiden allows us to do. So Time Maiden is a card that if you control no monsters, you can special summon it from your hand. And if you happen to have Alistair in your hand, you can normal summon that, search invocation, and then turn them into the invoked link monsters. So that's what Time Maiden is here for. Time Maiden does tie into some other stuff in the deck, and we'll talk about that later. But yeah, I like playing the 2. I think 3 is a bit much, but playing the 2 as like as another thing. You can also special summon it to your field if you open blue. You can special summon it and then tribute it off to normal summon blue if you just can't get blue on board. But yeah, so 2 Time Maiden, I like this, and I'll talk more about Time Maiden when we get there, when we get to the parts that she interacts with. But that is it for the monsters of the main deck. Let's talk about these spells. So we are, of course, playing 3 Invocation. This deck needs to play 3. It's nuts. This is like your fusion spell. You search it, it puts back Alistair. It also, you know, makes the illusion that you are cheating, much like the entire Invoked deck just makes your opponent feel like you're doing to them. And so then we have 3 of the field spell. If you remember, I was playing 2 of this for a really long time because you can't set it. Without 3 terraforming, I just swapped out the 3rd terraforming for another field spell. It was a really easy decision. And yeah, so I just feel like that was the natural switch, I guess. We want to see Alistair as quick as we can, and 3 field spells does that. And of course, we are playing 2 terraforming because we do want to see our field spell. And while 2 terraforming isn't the best, it's whatever. I mean, 2 terraforming doesn't really stop us. 2 Pot of Desires to draw cards. That's self-explanatory. 2 instant fusions to get out our Thousand Eyes Restrict. This is just so that way we see the instant fusions. 2 of the Mekk-Knight World Legacy Memory. This summons a Mekk-Knight from the deck and then bounces it back to the hand. This is a really good starter card if you really just need that purple. 2 Scapegoat. I was already playing 2 Scapegoat and then I got bumped to 2, so it's like, you know, no skin off me. And then for our 1-ofs, I'm playing 1 Raigeki to board wipe, 1 Monster Reborn, and 1 World Legacy Succession. So we can search this. These are the same cards, so it's almost like we're playing 2 Monster Reborns and then Raigeki to just, you know, for the board wipe. So there we go. That is it for the main deck. The spells didn't change a whole lot. It was mostly just this, but adding in the World Legacy Succession, which I don't think was in my last deck profile, was something that I like. I enjoy having the Succession in the deck. So let's talk about the extra deck. We have 2 Mekk-Knight. Mekk-Knight is your negation. He's probably one of your best fusion monsters, but the one that can take his spot is the multi-attacking Purgatrio. Purgatrio is probably your 2nd best, if not the best, invoked fusion monster in the extra. He is insane. He is great. And then we're playing Invoked Cockcheus. I've actually talked about this card in my last deck profile for this. Invoked Cockcheus is the way that you kind of deal with Arborea in Crusadia, because this deck does have a little bit of a tough time against Crusadia. So if you can get rid of Arborea, then Cockcheus is the way to do that. And then I've opted to play Elysium over Ragin. I like Elysium more because if you go into it, it's another board wipe. It's a banishing board wipe at that, but it's also just a lot bigger. And since I'm not main decking the Book of the Law, if you main deck Book of the Law, you want to play Ragin and Elysium spot, but if you're only siding it, you play Elysium. And for our last fusion monster, which is our instant fusion target, Thousand Eyes Restrict, people keep telling me to play Millennium Eyes Restrict. I don't have that. I don't have a Millennium Eyes, so Thousand Eyes is what I go with. But yeah, that's it for the fusions. I like this lineup. This has been like the way to go with the fusion monsters for a while, so I would not change that. For our Link monsters, Link Kribo because of Scapegoat, Link Spider because of Scapegoat, Cerberus and Phoenix. These also kind of tie in with Scapegoat and Link Kribo. Like these are stepping stones as well, and you can get their effects. So like if you go Link Spider, Link Kribo, and then you take Link Kribo and you turn it into a token, and then they have a back row, you can discard a card, pop it, and then draw a new card, and then turn that into Link Kribo, and then make Borreload. So there you go, there's that little how to do that with this deck. But yeah, so Nightmare Phoenix and Cerberus are in here. And then for bigger links, we have Alistair, the Invoker of Madness, the Mekk-Knight Morningstar. These guys are about equal. Like they accomplish almost the same thing most of the time. So like there's no reason to really, you know, play one over the other. Like I like both of them. And then one Mekk-Knight Spectrum Supreme. This card is nuts. This card is amazing. it's won me games. And then lastly, Borreload. If you don't want to play more Spectrum Supreme, you don't really have to, but I definitely recommend playing him. This could be Borrelsword. Borrelsword is some of the same way as Borreload, but I like Borreload a bit better, personally. And that's it for the extra. We can talk about the side real quick, because that's where another card kind of comes into play. So let's move the extra deck out and let's talk about the side deck real quick. So in my side deck, I have 3 Firecracker. This card is stupid. It's my card I use when I go into time, or like if I think I'm gonna go into time, like if there's only like 2 minutes left in the round, I'll side this in, and then during the game, I'll just like drop it at some point right when they call time to burn for 1,000. That usually means I win in time. And then for our next card, we have Zaphion the Time Lord. So I side this in against True Draco. So like I said, Time Maiden does interact with these because you can summon her off of the Time Maiden. And it's just, I wanted a Time Lord that could interact with the Maidens. I would side in 2 if I had the Time Lord that burns for half your health. If I had that, I'd also be siding that, but currently Zaphion is the one I have, so she's who I play. And then I am playing a 3-card Kaiju package, that being Gam, Dog, and Interrupted. And those are the ones I like. You see them all about the same because, you know, but yeah, I like having the second board wipe. I like having the Kaijus in the extra. It's in the side. It's what works out, so. With those off. For other spells, I side a 3rd Instant Fusion. Sometimes you just want to see it against other decks. I side Book of the Law because you can search it. And then for traps, I'm siding 3 Lost Winds still because it's really good. And I'm siding 3 Evenly Matched because Evenly Matched is like the best trap card that's ever been printed, and it's yet to be hit on a ban list. So, I mean, they've made it more widely available now. So, you know, I guess it doesn't really need to be hit, but, you know, it's there. But that's it for the deck. I know I've profiled this deck like insane amounts of times at this point, so it doesn't go without saying. I guess it goes without saying that like the deck's been done to death. But I like this deck. I'm pretty sure this is the numbers that I'm going to keep it at for a while, at least until it does actually get hit on the ban list, because I like this. I think Time Maiden is interesting in the deck. I think it's pretty cool to have another special summon in the deck that's like small and doesn't rely too much on the opponent. So I like that. Also having a card that full on like kind of interacts with your side deck and could throw off your opponent, you know, I think is really cool to have. But yeah, tell me what you guys think about this deck in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.